Level 1, the ticket. You buy a lottery ticket every week. Same numbers. Same shop on the corner near your apartment. Same Tuesday afternoon routine that has never produced anything except the occasional free ticket and a few small wins that barely covered the cost of the next one. You do it out of habit more than genuine hope. You have done it for years without thinking too much about why. But this Tuesday is different. You sit on your sofa with the ticket in your hand and watch the numbers come up one by one on the television. You look down at the ticket. You look back at the screen. You look at the ticket again more slowly. You read the numbers a third time because your brain will not accept what your eyes are telling it on the first two attempts. You get your phone and open the lottery website to check independently. The website confirms it. All 6 numbers. Every single one. $50 million. You call the lottery hotline with hands that are not entirely steady. They ask you to come in the following morning to verify the ticket in person. You sit on your sofa for the rest of the evening, unable to watch television or eat or do anything useful. At 2 in the morning, you are still awake. At 3, you are still awake. You are not sure you sleep at all that night. The next morning, you go to the official lottery office and sit across from a person in a suit who verifies your ticket with a machine, and then looks up and nods and confirms what you already know. You sign several documents. You shake hands. You walk outside into the completely ordinary city street and sit down on a bench and stare at the pavement for 20 minutes while people walk past with their bags and their coffee and their phones. Nobody looks at you. Nobody has any idea. The world is entirely unchanged. They advise you to keep it private for now. So you carry the secret back into your ordinary life. You return to work and sit at your desk surrounded by colleagues having ordinary conversations about ordinary things. You eat lunch with friends and listen to them talk about their weeks. You ride the bus home. You do the shopping. You cook your usual dinner. You lie in bed at night with $50 million confirmed in your name in a refrigerator that still makes its usual noise and a worn sofa that is still exactly as worn as it was before Tuesday afternoon. Then you tell your family. Your mother asks you to repeat the number twice and then covers her mouth with her hand. Your father goes completely quiet for almost a full minute. What follows is everything you imagined it would be. The tears, the disbelief, the joy, the long embraces. It is the best version of the moment. Completely real and completely deserved. Then other people find out. Relatives you have not spoken to in years call to catch up. Old acquaintances from school and previous jobs get in touch. People you barely remember send warm and enthusiastic messages. Everyone is generous with their time and their affection, and you start to notice something you did not anticipate. You can no longer tell with complete certainty who is genuinely glad to hear from you and who is glad to hear the number. The two things look identical from the outside, and that is the problem. The money arrives in your account. You buy a house. You buy a car. You buy things you have wanted for years without being able to justify the cost. Each purchase feels stranger than the last. Not wrong. Just strange. Like wearing clothes that fit perfectly but were made for someone else, and you are still adjusting to the idea that they belong to you now, and then the requests begin. A cousin needs help with a significant debt. A friend has a business idea that needs a modest investment to get started. Someone you lost contact with years ago sends a long, carefully worded message about a difficult situation. You say yes to some. You say no to others. The people you say no to are gracious about it on the surface, but something shifts quietly. A small number of those relationships do not fully recover. Not because anyone says anything directly, just because the shift was large enough that the distance on the other side of it becomes the new normal between you. You move into the new house. It is large and quiet and more beautiful than anywhere you have ever lived. Staff begin to arrive. A private chef, a driver, a cleaner who comes several times a week. People whose entire professional purpose is to make your daily life run smoothly. You feel genuinely uncomfortable being served, and say thank you far too many times at first, and gradually, over the following months, learn to accept it without the awkwardness becoming visible every single time. More months pass. The calls slow down. The requests have been answered one way or another and settled into outcomes. You sit in the large, quiet house on certain evenings and find yourself thinking about the old apartment, the worn sofa, the refrigerator and its noise, the straightforward simplicity of a life where nobody needed anything from you because there was nothing particular to need. You had a group of close friends who used to get together every few weeks for dinner. Nothing planned or special. Ordinary restaurants. Long evenings talking about nothing important. That group has quietly stopped meeting. Nobody made a decision to stop. It simply became harder to arrange and then easier not to, and then enough time passed that restarting it would feel strange. You cannot identify the exact moment it ended because you were not paying close enough attention when it happened. One evening, you find a photograph on your phone from one of those old dinners. Everyone laughing at something not even visible in the frame. Completely unguarded. Nobody performing anything for anyone. You look at it for a long time, you have $50 million. You have a house and a car and a chef and more than you ever concretely imagined having. You have everything you used to tell yourself you wanted when you did not have it, and you have learned something that nobody mentions to you before you win. Money solves every problem that money is capable of solving, and it leaves everything else exactly where it was. Sometimes in a larger and quieter room than before, but exactly where it was. You still buy a lottery ticket every week. Same numbers. Same shop on the corner. Old habit most likely. Or maybe because that shop on that Tuesday afternoon is the last place where everything around you was still exactly as simple as it appeared to be.